Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and here we are, like almost at the end of the week. It's like I love it. 4-day weeks would be very nice in the markets. Wouldn't it be nice? 4-day weeks? I think it would be. I know you'd have to adjust for the decay, but it would be nice. All right, let's see what we got going on today. We still have the political drama in the United States. It'll end, and there'll be a speaker. It will happen. We know by January 13th, payday comes up, and I'm sure that they want to get paid. So sooner or later, they'll figure it out. We'll see how many of them are willing to not get paid. All right, let's get the chat line up on the screen. Metho, have not talked to you since last year. Where you been? Robin, howdy, howdy. All right, let's see what we got going on there. Excelente. Did you go back and look at any of the others? Were they blurry? It's still blurry? Holiday. I like that. It's like the old days. I like that. People took holidays. They took off for a couple weeks. I like that. I think that's good. Holiday. Be so nice. Holiday. Yes, indeed. All right. What do we got here? So you can see the dollar index kind of dancing slowly up. We are kind of always thinking it should be going down. I think we look at the dollar as way overpriced. And over on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, let's see what they've got going on there. I think it's that one right there. There we are. Let's see what the dollar index looks right there. There it is, U.S. dollar index. And it's doing that same thing. It's in a sell. You can see that right there. You know, it's pressing down. Weekly's been in a sell, just like over here on the DXY. There's the DXY right there. Lots of pressure. Lots of pressure with those hinky ashkies and the green line underneath the dashed line for a long while. Little bounce here trying to develop. And very close, as you can see here, and then you can see really how close it is right there. I mean, it's just like right on the edge of the zero line, right on that edge. You see it's minus 27.94 as we speak right there. Minus 28.16, just kind of very, very, very close. Let's see, put Google Chem OS Flex on my old, PC. Oh, neat. Chrome, oh yes. Yeah. I like Chrome. I use Chrome. I find Chrome to be pretty good. I agree with you. And that is the action we see with the dollar. The dollar has been going down. And when we go over and we look at like the euro. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, I mean it's what is it? A lot more applications, more organized, probably less processing power. I think Chrome uses less processing power compared to, what do they call that other stuff? Explorer and so forth. In the end result, Explorer still is running through DOS on some level. And let's put up the euro and see what the euro looks like this morning. It's been in a daily sell for a couple of days. So there's the day, and let's change it over to that right there, and there it is. You see that pressure on it for the last couple of days, and over here. But yeah, I use Chrome on all of it. I agree with you. It's a better one. I guess some use Linux and so forth, but I find Chrome comfortable. Where's it at? Right. We can go all the way down. Right there. There it is. There's the dollar index. The euro currency itself. You can see that 3 days in a sell. You can see it's been in a weekly buy for months. Since the end of October in the 96, 97 area, 95 area. It is very friendly. It is. Well, Windows 10, it's not that as much. Is that the platform? Exactly. The like Chrome. Chrome is much more faster, less processing power. I think it's because it's utilizing the cloud more. And matter of fact, I understand that Microsoft, was it the stock itself? Microsoft was down hard. Was it yesterday? I think it was down hard yesterday. They said that they've been losing cloud business. So, matter of fact, that'd be interesting to look at. That we're in this conversation. I'd like to take a look at that real quick. Let's see, right there. Let's see what it looks like. Because I'm curious. I don't really follow Microsoft. I mean, we see NQs, so forth, but and Microsoft has done fantastic, done very well. There's Tesla right there. It's trying to lift up a little bit today. Let's see, where should we put it? That's there. Let's see, what product should we put it in? Oh, we can do it right there. We're Southwest Airlines. See that? It's in a daily buy. Yesterday, it's a little bit firmer today, nothing major. But it's like the rest of the stock indices down. Okay, now let's put Microsoft in there. And let me do this. There it is. Mr. Softy. That's what we call it on the trading floor. Mr. Softy. Yeah, they slammed the stock yesterday for what they said was they saw where they were losing in the cloud. The cloud business, which is kind of curious in its own right, I'm a little surprised about that. Close, yes to, oh, there we are. Now there it is right there. There's Mr. Softy again. And you can see it's up a little bit today, but yeah, they gapped it down pretty well yesterday. That was a pretty big gap from the 240 area down into the 229 area, 223. We'll go down to low as 225, $15 move. You can see we were in a sell right here, which is interesting. Let's widen that out. That's why it's always interesting to take a look at things. Let's see, like so. So they front-runned it. They knew when they gapped it, when they sold it down from Tuesday's open, that they were going to crush it the next day. They front-runned it. Yeah. We were in the sell. That's why they knocked it down. They didn't close it up. They closed it down. And we've been also in a weekly sell, so you couldn't take the long either way. Let's see. I haven't even tried Windows 11 yet. Oh, wait a minute. I might have. Yeah, matter of fact, this machine has Windows 11 in it. I bought Microsoft stock yesterday. I will buy every $10 cheaper. More of them. Well, let's take a look at it a little bit deeper than that, since you're interested in it. I guess was that the 210 area? So back in the lows of November, it got down to around 213. That's the low there. And then let's see what else is going on when we go and look at it. Yeah, so over the last year, basically. Let's see. Let's tighten it up even more. That's interesting. I don't blame you. If you're an investor in that particular sector, why not? Now, I'd imagine that, with all those operating systems that they put out on computers and so forth, chances are, I think what it is that Amazon and Google, and I'm trying to think who else, is really big on the cloud. They do really, they're making Amazon, supposedly Amazon makes more money on the cloud than anything else. Their server farms. And I understand Apple's doing a good job with their server farms also. So, Anyway, there it is. If you want to see, I'm going to leave it on that particular chart. If you care to see Microsoft every so often, just give a yell. Let's save that. There we are. Now from there we'll slide over to the British pound. And there's the British pound. You can see it's still hovering underneath. Boy, it has tightened up, you know, when you really look at that. It's that explosive thing. Robin was telling somebody that up on Twitter a couple days ago about that. You know, when that manifold gets tight, it's getting ready to make a move. And in this case here, it's really getting tight. And you can see it's in the weekly sell for a week. And it's going nowhere. It has no clear direction whatsoever. So that's a interesting sign right there when it comes to the cable itself. And then, you know, you can see here on J4X. Right there it is. Same situation on the daily. You know, just kind of sideways action really in here. I mean, they've had a little pressure, but not too much to really be concerned about it. And in the weekly, right there, couple weeks now pressing down, green line underneath. You know, same situation as here, except for it broke last week and confirmed it. It's been really docile. I mean, I think didn't we have a rectangle going around that for a while, just reflecting how sideways, how lack of conviction, you know, real low conviction at the moment. All right, then we drift over to the Swiss franc. Let's see what the Swiss franc's up to. There's that. And I put it into a daily buy for the last 3 days, and all it's done is found a way to go down. And obviously that's because the overall trend has been telling us don't take longs. Don't be long. Don't take a long. Cover a short, but don't get long. That's what that's been trying to tell you right there over and over again. And it's obviously been right. And let's put it up over here. Mr. and Mrs. Swiss right there. And you see that, you know, that's the weekly, all that pressure just like here. Oop, like here. There we go. You know, ever since this topping pattern, we went into the weekly sell, and it's just slid back into normality, I would say. I consider that normality. That Credit Suisse problem seems to have dried up, thank goodness. You can see here overall, looking at it on the J4X on a day-to-day basis, it's doing that same thing. It's kind of trapped. Let's see if we do this. You see that? It's just been like just cruising along in a sideways action going nowhere. And that is the Swiss. Now, let's check out the yen. The yen, I was a little surprised. I think it closed in a daily buy last night. They've been pushing that back down very comfortably. Yeah, look at that strength out of it yesterday and today. And let's put it up on here. Right there. And you can see it went into the buy. Yes. Now we got a red dot there. Yes, last night we didn't have that. We don't have a red dot. Let me just hit a reload. Maybe it'll clear it up. Nope, still there. So it's trying to get into the daily buy. Where's that mouse at? There it is. Not doing too good a job, and we're in that weekly sell. So it's getting close, very close to getting into the plus side. See, it's minus 46 there. But we're still in that bear move from here. And so every buy has been just a place to cover shorts and then get re-shorted again. And it's been kind of sloppy in this territory. It was most of the good trades were from here and here. And that was okay, but nothing major. And that one has done nothing. Barely a profit. And this one, where's the last one? Right here. It was no profit at all on it. That was the first loss out of that whole move. And then it gave you a chance to get short, but that only lasted for like a day and a half. I mean, you had low the next day. You put your right stop in like usual, and at least you don't give up any money. You make a little bit. And you can see it's trying to curve here, which is interesting. I don't really think that I think whatever's happened with the Swiss is happening with the yen. Both of them seem to have marched so well together. Whatever resolution was resolved seems to calm both of them down. They both now participate with the other major currencies. So this might be just a dead cat bounce. That's the way I see it. But one thing is and does have my eye, and that is that. Look how close that is. I mean, next week it's going to be, if it settles right around in here tomorrow, there's a good chance we start to move into the 0 plus side. We start to lift up. So that means, caution on the short side. Caution and no short side. That's what it comes down to. All right. And that is the yen. So from there we move over to the Turkish lira. Right there. There's the Euro Turkish lira. Let's put it up over here. Oh, you can see all that strength on the weekly. It's been climbing and climbing and climbing. And same thing here. We've been in that buy since mid-October. We've been in that buy since back in here. And it's climbed, it's gone, I think we said it yesterday, went from the 18s to the, basically it went to the 20s. So it's been a tough little move on the upside. Last couple of days we're in sells. Let's see what it looks like on the sell side here on J4X. Right there. And choppy. Went into a sell a couple of days ago. Now it's trying to perk its head back up and get going. Over on Chicago Quant, we're still just cruising along. It is, I guess if we widen that out, let's widen that out. You can see it's been lifting up. It goes into the sell, but you can't take the short. You can't take that short here because we're in weekly buys since October. So it's just lifting back up again, but we haven't gotten into the daily buy yet. So we'll wait and see what they do with that. Let's see. What else we got going on here? Okay. Just checking chat line. I don't see anything there. From the Euro Turkish lira, we slide over to the Canadian and the South African rand, since they match up to some energy side of it. So we're looking for a little down movement on the chart when it comes to the Canadian. In other words, it should be gaining against the dollar. There it is there, and it's not doing it. Did it yesterday? It's in that sell, but it's perked up a little bit. But again, it's not something you can take a short of, and that's the reason why right there. We've been in a weekly buy going nowhere now for months. Since, well, actually a month and basically a month over the last 5 weeks. And it's been pretty much a sideways up and down move. Nothing major there. And then when we go over to the energy side of this, there's Brent. Brent is pretty much unchanged from yesterday. Because it was in the 79s and change yesterday. It's in the 79s today. You can see some pressure on it. It's rolling over. So energy is going down, and that's usually a sign of, energy going down means Canadian going up. That's what that means. Now, in the States here, let me just show you where they're at in the States. Because last I saw, oil was up $1.50. So I would have thought for sure it would be going down. Yeah, it closed yesterday at 73.22. It's trading at 74.27. So it's up $1.04. And you can see it's pressing very hard into the weekly sell at the same time. Right there. And when that goes into a sell, normally Canadian would turn and lose against the dollar, meaning it would go up on the chart. So that is the Canadian. Now on the gold, talk about a little diversity going on. Gold here is now down. It was firm at the beginning of the day, or since last night. We're starting to get some pressure. We're still in that daily buy for 5 days here now, and a weekly buy since late October. From the 1650 area, and then over here, let's put South African Rand up there. There it is right there. And it's been heading down, which usually is normal for when gold is going up. Rand goes down against the, it gains against the dollar there, because that's a dollar Rand pairs trade. So it means as the chart goes down, it's gaining against the dollar itself. And then you can see over here, there it is right there. They've perked it back up inside that triangle that we've been watching from the politics problems. So, and you can see right here's in it. There we are. There's the zero line, and we've gone buy, sell, buy, sell. I mean, this thing is, it's really sloppy. It's very rare to see all those buys and sells. I mean, you get them once in a while, but not like that. That means there's a lot of confusion. Money doesn't know what to do with this thing at the moment. Probably because of the politics, that $500,000 found. You shall return, then you shall. You and MacArthur, you will return. All right, yeah, so this must be just a lot of political noise. Lots of political noise. We don't hear anything. The U.S. media doesn't really report much besides, unless there's like something they can really make you feel ridiculous about. Then when it comes to a socialist leadership has $500,000 found in his sofa, that doesn't usually have any reason. They don't want socialists to look bad in the media here in the States. All right. From there, that pretty much finishes off those two currencies. Let's go check out Mexican peso. Peso is trying to tell us that things are going to work out fine in Washington. They're trading the bottom end of the range. That says to me that because the Mexican peso does well with a healthy financial America. So as long as they're buying that currency, it means that they're anticipating that things are going to work out much better. And we're at the bottom end of this range. That's what the white line is. So we can contract it a little bit so you can see the range. There's the range. And that's 50% of the range right there, that blue line. And so we Fibonacci the range itself, and for a while it's been doing just fine. Actually, the green is the 50 percentile. That's the 50 percentile right there. Let's see if we can make that thicker. There we are. So we're down at the bottom end of the range. They're buying Mexican peso, which interprets the fact that things are going to be much better off in Washington economically. All right, that completes the currencies. Unless someone wants to see something, just give us a shout and we will look at it. There we are. There's the stock indices right there. Let's go back to the metals. Let's check out there's gold. You can see gold's down a little bit, but it's still in the daily buy. Whereas silver closed in a daily sell last night. And it's feeling the pain even more today. Now look at that. It's flirting. It's very close. We're looking at, it's at 03. Is that where it's at now? No, there it is. They're down here. It's at 03. It's very close to going into the sell also. So, we've had a wonderful move from the weekly buy in the where was that? That was the 19.5 area, and we've taken it all the way up to the 24.77 area, and now it's just kind of starting to roll over a little bit. Maybe it's a little profit taking, or it's the beginning of some correction. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how deep the math takes it. You know, how much is what pressures are put on it. That's usually the way it works. And same situation with copper, which went into the daily sell yesterday. Let's put silver up on J4X right there. There we go. See that big downstroke today. And it's trying to get through the green line. It's trying to break down here. So that's where we're at. And let's see what the J4X is showing us on a weekly basis too. I wonder if it's red. Could be red. Yeah. Nope, it's not red yet through the hinkies yet. It'll turn soon. It's going to stay down here like this. Copper. We're seeing copper went into a daily sell yesterday and seems to be launching itself into a daily buy today. That's the weekly. A little choppy there. And let's put it up over here. There it is. And there's the copper. It had slid into a daily sell, I guess, a bunch of days ago. But now they're playing with the weekly sell. So we've been in a sell since here. And now we're starting to perk its head up a little bit right here today. It almost got into the... I guess I don't have a green line in there, so that just shows you that it's not strong enough yet. That could be just a dead cat bounce, if nothing else. They're really having... I guess I like to always say that when we look at copper, we're thinking about China. And China kind of... There's a lot to be said about copper and China and the economy and so forth. And they're looking for... China to, become much more stable economically, and so they're really hoping that they can get out of this COVID situation and start to, grow. But it's hard to say at the moment. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts over there when it comes to who's controlling all the money and the economy. Much more than here in the States. There's a lot more control over there. So that's the big question. And that's really the answer right there. From the copper, just because of the fact that it perked its head up is a positive thing, but it hasn't gotten into the plus right here. So normally I don't go run over to the platinum every time, but when I have gold and silver acting the way it is, I always want to see what they're doing to the platinum. And it's holding up pretty firm. It's not really getting beat up. It's been in that buy since the 980 area. And it's still in the weekly buy. So this might be just some short-lived action when it comes to the gold. Here's gold again. Maybe they're just digesting a little bit. The weekly looks very firm in here, so there's not, no particular problems there. I'm not that concerned. I'm a little surprised that silver is taking it on the chin the way it is. Let's go back to silver again. But it had a great run when you really think about it. Going from the 19.5 all the way up to almost 25. That's a pretty good run, percentage-wise, compared to gold, which went from 1650 to 1850, basically. All right. From there, we drift over to the energy sector. Let's see what the energies are doing. And there is the front month of crude oil. Like I said, it's moving up today, trading at 74.21. And let's put Brent. We had Brent up there a few minutes ago when we were looking at energies. There's Brent. Just trading at just below a 79.30s area, basically. And let's put the daily in there instead. I mean, it's obviously doing the same thing as we're seeing here. A couple of days, in this case here, it was 1 week in a buy and right back into the sell again. So they're both doing that. Let's see. The front month, you can see here, we're trading at 74.26. And the back month is trading at, yesterday they had a good premium in it, 74.67. So that's about 40 cents. That's pretty good. No more than 3 months ago, that product was trading at 70 cents under and 90 cents under. Now it's trading 40 cents above. And you can see it's pressing there too. Same way, same week, weekly trend. That pressure is definitely on it. Then from there we go over to Nat Gas right there. Oop, missed it. That's gold again. Right there, there's Nat Gas. You can see it's been a couple of weeks in a sell. Come down from the $5 area down into the 390s. It's been in a weekly sell since, what is that? Early September, mid-September. It's been in a sell since the $8.50, $9 area. What is that? That is $8.50, $8.40. So, this thing has lost 50% since we've gone into a weekly sell. This product has gone down 50% of its value, and we have not climbed back into that buy. It's it got close there. They put a lot of pressure on it. We had a daily buy there, and it moved from 6 to almost 8. Protected you from being short, but it didn't last. And when it broke, we fell from the 775 area. Is it? No, 755 area, all the way down to the was that 525 area, 526 area. So the sells have obviously been really scrumptious. This one was a little weak, nothing major, because it was a good trade down, right there, and then went into a buy for a day, 2 days, and then went back into the sell here, and it was a nice winner. So this weekly sell has been very good in that, and I hope Europe is paying less in natural gas than everybody was concerned about. And then let's see, let's put it up over here. Natural gas, right there. Yeah, trading at $3.90, under $4. I'm wondering where that we look at this energy company in Spain, and it really gives us a good flavor of the action, the direction that things are going. So let's take a look at that. It's right underneath it. There it is. And it's still hovering in the 24s. I was hoping it would be starting to play with the 23s. It's feeling that pressure still. It's come down from the 27s. So this is natural gas in Spain, the company itself. And so I guess that reflects pretty clearly how European natural gas is going. I think that's the best way to describe it. And obviously there's pressure on the product, and it's trying to find its way on the downside there. All right, quiet day. If it wasn't for Metho and Microsoft, we wouldn't have been really jumping around about anything, would we? And then, let's see, where are we at? So we did natural gas. Oh, in the States here is the heating oil. Here's the March contract in heating oil. So in the Northeast, almost a third of the population uses heating oil. It's kind of like a diesel fuel. And you can see we were in a sell from the 360 area. Weekly sell there. It was stayed that way all the way up until like a week ago. Went into the buy off of this move here, and it's rolled over again. It's sliding a little bit in here, and it's down into the $3 area. So it's moved about 30 cents, which is a decent move, 10% move. And we are now flirting very comfortably with that weekly sell number. And let's see if there's a contango. That's the March contract at 305. And then here's the front month Feb contract. No, that is the Feb contract, 305. Okay, so here's the back month. And they're discounting it. They're trading it at 295. So it's 10 cents cheaper. Same situation as the front month. Same type of pressure going on. All right, so that is the energies in the United States and in Europe. So from there, we drift over to the stock indices at this point. As I take a sip of my tea. There we go. So let's put up the S&P 500 over here. The world index, as far as I'm concerned. Almost 50% of the companies in it are foreign nationals. So that's pretty good. It represents half of the stocks in it represent the United States, and the other half represent the world. And let's put it up over here. And there it is right there. You can see it's trying to hold up. We're in a daily sell since here, and it's only going the wrong way. And we're in a weekly sell. Still in that sell. Every time it tries to lift up, it falls down. It's giving you chances to get out, but we'll see how they come up with this. I'm wondering, I think there's a small opinion this morning that they may vote at lunchtime here in the States. Oh, an ADP comes out in 7 minutes also. The labor number, the first labor number of the week that we're going to be paying attention to, and the end of last year. So that comes out in 8 minutes. But there's a feeling that the House might actually vote on on McCarthy, and he may win. Supposedly there's been negotiations going on all night long. Since yesterday, so they may be voting him in, and you got to wonder what that'll do to the stock market. All right, so there's the S&P, and as you can see over here on J4X, it's been green for 4 days in the hinkies, whereas we got red and green, red and green, red, red, red. It just keeps on reflecting pressure on it. Green line here has been underneath, so it's doing basically the same thing. It's trying to tell you that the pressure is on the downside. And then obviously right here, you can see we've been in that weekly sell since up in the 4,000 area. So dropped 200 points to it, and then it's kind of bouncing around here. Now let's drift over to the Tech 100. There's the Tech 100. Right there. Looking a lot the same way. It did jump into the buy. Where is it? Right there on Friday at the end of the year. But we're in a weekly sell. I thought it might show some strength, and we did. We talked about that, and it did. They gapped it up on the first day of the year and then knocked it right down. So, they're all pushing at 4 weeks now in a sell since the 12,000 area plus, almost 12,500. So this product has fallen from 12,500 to drop 1,500 points over that time period. And that weekly is not, doesn't seem to be too enthusiastic about trying to get into the buy at the moment. Then we go over to the grand lady of them all, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is like the best of the best. It's 30 stocks, and they are the best of the best. Right there. And it's doing that same thing. I think it's in a daily buy, actually, for a day or two. And it keeps on finding ways to lift. There it is right there. Okay, it went in the daily sell yesterday, and it's just pressing down. And it's also like the other indices. It's just hanging on the weekly sell now for a fourth week. Not going anywhere in particular, just seem to be sloppy and choppy. I guess that's the best way to look at it. Sloppy and choppy. Sounds like a cartoon. We'll see what they do. If they vote for a speaker and get him elected, then that could be even more interesting. And then and you can see here, this is the intradays of the S&P 500. It's been in a sell right there. A little pressure there on the intraday. Let's go take a look at the last of the stock indices we look at, and that is the Russell 2000. Right there. And that's doing the same battle. It's in a daily buy for the last 3 days. It has this is the fourth day now, and it's trying to get into that sell, but it hasn't been able to get in there because the histogram is plus, and now it's where is it? It's minus 73, but we got a green dot, a green and a red dot going on there, so it's making it very tough for this thing to get into the sell, and it's trying. You can see it's so tight. Look how tight that is. You would think that there's some big action coming around the corner. It's like buy volatility. Matter of fact, we should take a look at the VIX. Put the VIX up there. The VIX is not really reflecting anything at all. And that's the volatility index for the S&P 500. And there it is right there. It's in a daily sell since here and it's gone pretty much nowhere. I mean, down more than up. It's been in a weekly sell since the 30s. Here we are trading in the 20s. So it's been a very good weekly sell signal. And usually when it's going down, usually equity indices are going up in value. That's the nature of it all. Ever since the crash of 1987, that has been the nature that the short side of the derivatives market trades at a more expensive rate solely because after watching the stock markets get crushed like that, they don't want to be too naked, so they're always going to have some type of hedge on some level. All right, and that pretty much does it all. And let's see, we got in 2 minutes. So let's put an intraday up. Which intraday is the most funnest? This is a good one right there. Let's widen that out. And it's been in the sell since right here. And it's pretty much done very little on the downside, but it has gone down. And we have numbers coming out in a matter of, what is that, about a minute. It's the ADP report. And that's a private company that does accounting, ADP, and they put out labor numbers every month. Usually, I think it's 2 days ahead of the Bureau of Labor Statistics by the government. But in this case here, because it's a short week of holiday, they're putting it out today. And so in about 30 seconds, we will see what they do here. And they're expecting, let's see if I can see some projection of what they're expecting compared to what may happen. I think they're looking for like 175,000. So we'll see what the numbers are. And we are still 10 seconds away, 15 seconds away. Oh, they're looking for 150,000 up. That's what they're looking for, 150,000. Last I heard was yesterday they were talking 175. December jobs report estimates, non-farm payrolls, and employment. Let's see. So that's what they're expecting tomorrow is 200,000 on the upside. Now, what are we seeing? We're seeing movement in stock. There it goes. You can see it's jumping around. So the number just came out. Let's see what the number is. Oh yeah, look at that action. So they've just taken this thing down by 15, 20 points. That's pretty big. Handles, no less. Fell from 76, 77 there all the way down to 58. So almost 19 handles. That's pretty good. And let's see what the numbers come out to be now. They should be spilling out any second now. Waiting, let's see, ADP, it's out already. They're just not giving us the numbers. And the answer to it should be right here. Let's see what they say. $235,000. They were expecting $150,000. Actual was 235. Estimated was going to be 150,000. So we're still in that cell right here. Because you had the red and the green, so you can't take that. And it seems to be chilled at this point. Nothing major at the moment. So the Federal Reserve is going to be still cautious on some level. So in other words, they will not just start lowering rates instantly. They want to see the economy slow. So they wanted that number when they said it was going to be 150. They really would like, if it had been 120 or 1 even, then it would have run up the stock market. The fact that it was the other way around, there was 235,000 jobs versus 150,000, puts pressure on the Federal Reserve not to lower rates. Yeah, there you go, Metho. What do you think, Metho? Yeah, they do. The ADP does payrolls and things like that. They do accounting for companies, so they have a good flavor of who's working and who's not. It's better than the Bureau of Labor Statistic. Yeah, see, the Philadelphia Federal Reserve came out and said something like, "Do you think ADP is wrong more? Do you really? It doesn't match to the Bureau of Labor statistic." You're saying, is that what you mean when you say it's wrong? What are more actual numbers, aren't they? What do you think of that thing with the Philadelphia Federal Reserve where they said they overestimated by 1 million jobs? So ADP is wrong in what way? It doesn't match up to Bureau of Labor statistics, the government ones? Or, in other words, it's too volatile to be trusted? Something is wrong. What do you mean something's wrong? The Bureau of Labor statistics, you mean? Excuse me. Well, we know that the Bureau of Labor Statistics is wrong. We know that Mr. Obama changed it, and it's been incredibly off. It's nowhere near. Maybe ADP is wrong, but ADP is actually measuring real workers, whereas the Bureau of Labor Statistics is taking a statistical average. Maybe the number is just not as smooth as it may be. Statistic. Now you're talking about the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, the government's numbers. You're saying that's what you're saying by wrong. They don't match up to ADP. I'm waiting to see what Metho says here. I just want to get an understanding of what he's thinking about, or she's thinking about the number. So when you say there's something wrong with ADP, you're saying it doesn't match to the Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers, or vice versa, that there's something wrong with the Bureau of Labor Statistics numbers. Well, the one odd thing that came out, and a lot of people were, especially in the administration, the Fed will choose the number they need. Oh, well, they don't. I don't think they pay. Yes, I don't think they're not paying attention to the ADP. They're not paying attention to the ADP at all. They're really paying attention to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'm sure they do watch it, of course, ADP, but they don't. I don't think they make decisions from it because they can't control those numbers, and they don't seem to want to make any decisions on any numbers that they don't control. So they're very fast to not pay attention to private numbers. They will look at the different major numbers that come out of Ohio and Michigan and so forth, but they don't really trust anything that's not a government statistic. So you're right about that. Yeah, they do. They trust the number they need, not the ones that are efficient. I agree with you. Still in that daily sell since right here. It's been underneath. We tried to pop up here, but we had a red and a green, and then sure enough, the news came out and it just crushed it. So if it had been green, then we'd have been in a buy. You can see we've had a couple volatility signals, green and red, but it's not really going anywhere. All right, from there, what do we go on to? Also, I've got to figure out what we call this particular webinar today. But so there's the dollar. Oh, and what do we have? We have the Dow up there at the moment. There's the Dow. Let's see what they're doing to the euro. Let's see if they perked it up. Right there. And here's the euro. It's not much of a difference. It's still curved a little bit. It's off its highs. It's at its lows now. That's all. So they're not going to lower interest rates. So that automatically puts pressure on the currencies or the currency pairs. And that automatically, makes the currency pairs weaker against the dollar, of course. So, but we're holding out. We still believe that in the end that the dollar is going to be weaker, not stronger. So, whatever action is going on, it's going to be short-lived as far as I can tell. All right. Don't have much more to say. If you have anything you'd like to look at, let me know. We'll go look at it. At this point, I'm just totally convinced that markets are going to be sloppy until they get some clarity of direction. And that clarity of direction is probably going to be through politics, unfortunately, from right now. Let's see. There you go. You can see that right there. They're trying to do something with it. They're down, but not a lot. Nothing's down a lot. Probably because they don't have a. There is rumors out there that they've resolved the speaker situation. So McCarthy might get his numbers today. They may vote and actually get him passed. Or what they'll do is they won't show up. That's the other game they can play. They don't have to vote for him. They just don't show up. And by not showing up, he can win with the numbers that he has. Strong labor market plus pivot inflation equals soft landing? Boy, that is a really great question and statement. I'm not even totally convinced our labor market is strong, but the numbers say it is. The inflation is drifting down, and the chances of government spending a lot more money now are almost zero. So that's a pivot in inflation. I agree with you there. Soft landing. I want to believe that there's a soft landing more than anything else. I agree with you. I think that when you have QE, okay, and I guess I use that as an excuse for a lot of things, but when you have QE, it's really hard to believe that we can't have a soft landing. I mean that would make sense to me. Is that with quantitative easing, look. One of the big issues overall has been that for a long time is that the Federal Reserve has been way too harsh. I'm talking about 5-6 decades, that type of thing. Okay, in other words, over 60 years, 70 years. But with quantitative easing, that has made the Federal Reserve very friendly, financially friendly, because it's allowed to print what it wants when it needs it, moves it around, buy what it wants to do. All right. No, I don't. No, I don't think so. I don't think that they. I think overnight would scare the market. I think what they'll do is they'll telegraph it, and then let the market move. The market could move overnight, but not the Fed. Well, yeah, that's why we have the inflation. I agree with you. That is really the reason why we have the inflation to begin with. I mean, they've been spending and being enormously irresponsible for a while now, and there seems to be no stopping them. That's the problem. And now that we have control of a Congress, then it's going to get stalled out. So, what do we got there? That's 721. So there's 21 no votes now, basically. We're going to see what happens at lunchtime today, because there's talk that they may have worked out a deal. But yeah, I think a soft landing makes sense. Solely because the Federal Reserve can do what it wants to do whenever it wants to do it. Nothing seems to be stopping them. There's no control over their actions to a great extent. So that makes total sense to me that somewhere towards the middle of the year, I would think that the markets will recognize that. Inflation might be in the 4.5 to 5 area, and that will give the market more comfort. And then they'll be thinking that they are going to lower rates, and then the markets will do it overnight, and then the Federal Reserve will follow later on. It's that classic buy on news, sell on rumor thing. So. Alrighty. But yeah, that's where my head's at. I agree with you about the soft landing. So, this is Doc from North America. We will catch you tomorrow, which is TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday already. And we will see see how the markets really go with the whole action, Soft landing sounds good to me. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Oh, wait, everybody, wait a minute. What do we got here? Metho says, everybody is waiting for a crash and the Fed lands softly. Oh, no, I agree with you. I agree. I totally agree. So, happy trails to you until we meet again, which will be tomorrow. Happy trails to you, all our trading friends. All right, traders, later.